one more time. OG versus RMC. Spaceman Jorby, take it away.
Yeah, Spaceman, why don't you lead with this one? These are your boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in once more. It's always going to be RetalsMajicCheese going head-to-head in the best of 5. You thought we weren't going to go in the distance? I have something special in my little gift bag for you. Why don't you climb down the chimney with me? Let's talk about it because, oh boy, OG versus RetalsMajicCheese. Good golly, Miss Molly. I got flashbacks and it feels like Vietnam. It's going to be a fun one, Jordan.
You know, I was thinking Christmas, but Vietnam too, I suppose. I'm going to do my best Corelli impression during this cast. Just, you know, for shout out to our PS1s out there.
That's right.
I think Corelli's working on getting his polygon count above 64. We'll update you there on that shortly. But hang on, look at the Magic Man. Almost getting the bump on Com. Just kidding. He deletes him instead.
You know, there are many teams that have tried to adopt the physical style, the demo gameplay that Retals so clearly invented in North America. But granted, in all seriousness, OG is maybe the other side of that coin. Com leading the charge, especially back on V1, now on OG. Demo-heavy offense, kind of the name of the game, really, for RetalsMajicCheese, but they're going to get the same taste of that medicine from OG. These are two teams that have a lot of history against one another, both online, at LAN. I expect this to be a very physical series, Dorby. I'd be surprised if we didn't see 3, 4, 5 demos per game.
I mean, look, Spaceman, all I'm going to say is if you take your eyes to the top of the overlay, you'll see that RMC already up by 1. That's right.
That's right. We like
game
that.
Advantage. Yeah. Overlay
just to
bias.
Go 5.
Just to go 5.
That's right, baby. We're so back.
Yeah. Y'all experience true pain over there. That's for sure. But this RetalsMajicCheese trio certainly have played well so far. 3-1 record. But OG, you got JNaps, who doesn't really seem to age over there. He and Garrett are the only players that have seemed to figure that out to any kind of extent since from the Season 1 GOATs. Magic Bear, nothing really getting done right now for either team, Spaceman. It does feel like we're headed right for that gritty game that we were expecting between these two.
Yeah, not much happening. It's a much better sign for our RMC than it is for OG because, again, RMC at times can shoot themselves in the foot defensively, but the big problem with LG earlier in this season was it was always a 2-man offense and never quite fully the 3-man offense. It always seemed like one player was either lagging behind or there was just not that many opportunities on the field or just in the playstyle for everyone to constantly contribute. There would be pockets where that happened, but I'm interested to see what RMC bring to the table now that they've had some time off, now that this team seems like right now they want to stick together. What have they been able to work out with Greg? Because this is a big testament for what they might bring to the table next season and whether or not they've been able to really develop the offense like we're starting to see. A little bit of a shot from Retals. It does go just a bit shallow, but still some early pressure. Now, how can they capitalize?
Man, that whole pressure opportunity started with Magic Bear in his own corner. They had all of OG back. JNaps goes up, has to use half of his boost just to wait for Magic Bear, who still hadn't left his own corner. He forces JNaps to use all of his boost. He beats JNaps on the play. They got the shot off at everything after that on the 50s, and they weren't able to collect that. And that's a goal definitely left, or at least an opportunity left on the table for RetalsMajicCheese. They're getting a little bit more out of their possession so far in the first 3 minutes. Just barely hopping those 50s. Com not going to find an outlet pass over to JNaps, who has to retreat and only will buy them that time as Retals will try again from his own corner.
This has been a lot of good pressure from RMC. I mean, Cheese was usually the second man up, at least on the first couple of swings on offense. He would rotate out to the corner, able to get a couple of boost grabs, so it certainly had forced OG to rethink maybe their midfield approach. Retals not going to get baited into the early challenge. But I like the pressure I'm seeing from RMC. They look much more comfortable at the midfield, and they like to set the pace in game ones. They're not always great at doing it, but when they do, it spells the tale for what's to come in this series. If they're setting this kind of pace of constantly on the ball and challenges, working through the backline, picking up demo at the midfield, how this shuts down what would have been a counterattack for OG, now turning into just win the 50. This is the RMC at their best that the LG fans were accustomed to seeing, what kind of allowed them to go on long runs in tournaments. So far, doing a nice job of really controlling pace of play here in game one.
Nice work from Com. Retals wisely leaves the ball go. I wasn't on Retals' cam, so I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I don't think I've ever seen Retals wave with the most basic aerial of all time, so I'm going to assume he just left it. Either way, OG stick on the ball. Com knows he's got Cheese frozen. Second man tries to assist on the back line for RMC, but they're facing a little bit of pressure. Noli opting for the boost pressure, and unfortunately for him, Khan's got to catch that 50. JNAB's already downfield. Magic Bear receives it, and RMC keep getting in the way on the big, deep, clear passes from OG. They haven't connected on many of them, if any of them so far. Final 30, RMC trying to break out, still contested in the midfield.
There are some challenges from members on RMC where I'm like, that still looks a little bit weird, still a bit unclean, but they do make it work. Calm, double tap, wide open. Nobody else was around. You thought maybe for a second the challenge would happen, but no, just not going to be here this time. Calm and open space, not going to miss.
You saw Noli harassing Magic Bear. Magic Bear heard the gas behind him as Noli started boosting, and that's the moment he jumped. He knew he was about to get demoed. Magic Bear probably gets to that 50, so he was waiting for Calm to move just a little bit farther. He didn't have a ton of boost in the tank. Not a lot of room to adjust, but enough for Magic Bear to adjust. Great job from Noli attacking on the front, taking Magic Bear out of the play. And OG likely take game one as long as they hold on to the ball, put it onto the ground here at 0 seconds. Retals will take a look at it. He's got the pop. He's looking for the bump, and a good idea. He saw Noli as he left the ground, but Noli too fast.
This means nothing to me. We'll see you in 5. This was a good game one from OG. They weathered the storm offensively from RMC. RMC looked pretty good when it came to setting tone at midfield, when it came to their pace of play, especially kind of working a lot on the sidewall and not necessarily towards the ceiling, but more so wrapping through 50s, keeping it close to the ground, really focusing on leading with a bump first, then possession second. Liked what we saw from RMC. Again, execution is an entirely different conversation, something that this team has circled around many times. OG, however, they don't need many chances to really win a game, right? They need a shot or two. If they get a goal, they play great defense to keep them in it. They took 7 shots, didn't feel like it, but it was like, let RMC do what they want, find a goal, and then call it a day in game one. They did just that.
Yeah, just got that cheeky bump that Noli got. But other than that, I mean, RMC were handling a lot of the hard clears from OG. OG didn't really get a lot of, they didn't get a lot of setup in the orange half. They had a lot of transition attempts. Now, that one from Calm was not really after a lengthy OG possession. They always seem to keep the score close. They always seem to have these, even if it's high scoring, they find ways to score goals, keep it within 1 or 2. We'll see what they can, or what RMC can do to fight back in this. If there's any team that I've seen come back from the grave a million times, it's this one.
You know, there's a lot of teams, like I look at SSG, OG as a pretty even matchup, but I would, and more so playstyle wise, but I would give the nod to SSG. But OG and RMC, very much like these are two teams that not only have the history against one another, their playstyles match up a lot. Like you said, Jorby, it could be a 1-0 game, a 1-1 game. It could be 5-5. It's still going to be like within a goal stretch. They're always going to be close. It's always been that way. OG's had the better showing in the last couple of series against RMC. They have won the majority of their series against RMC, but it still has been close. Noli's going to be a big X factor as to why OG succeeds this year, and he's been a really good catalyst for their offense against RMC, plays it through the 50, and just knows how to finish close quarters of the net.
You had a really aggressive setup there in the midfield from RMC. I don't know who second man was, but Magic Bear up on that challenge, he had lost the ball, and his second man was right underneath his wing, while I believe it was Retals that was downfield, still trying to recover and get into position. Just took way too long, a very risky position as Magic Bear lost the ball. But hey, you live by the 50, you die by the 50. And Cheese, get the ball downfield. He has Retals stealing boost. And the 50 easy for OG to clear out. JNAB's getting bumped on the midfield line. A couple of times he's just been lurking around that midfield line. But those are the passes that OG keep going for. RMC find a way to wrench those out. JNABs might actually throw it right back into the wheel here. Magic Bear forces the 50 out. Calm doesn't get much of a touch. Look at Retals, no boost. He needs some support from Cheese.
Only negative I think I see so far from RMC is the same kind of gameplay they've had all year, where they're very selfless. Like, Retals loves to set up for a pass early on in the transition. He loves to throw the ball to Cheese or Magic Bear. He wants to get his players involved. The only negative, the only criticism we've given to LG in the past has just simply been, do you instead need to be a little more selfish? You need to keep the ball on the ground, and if by doing so, does that allow the offense to form naturally rather than trying to force through? In situations like this, controlling the pace certainly helps, as Retals will punch it through.
Well, that was really easy. The ball goes right over JNABs' head. That leaves Noli completely stranded, and he drives right in to Magic Bear's path. An easy pave out, and it all starts with that 50 underneath. JNABs was expecting that ball to land completely differently. Noli was in his corner. He needed more time to get set up in the actual structure of OG's defense. So the XLG RMC find a way through, crack a hole through the OG defense.
I love what you just did there. A little vernacular king. Cheese from the midfield. Decent challenge. Off the kickoff, was able to win it through the corner as well. Worked off the ceiling. Nicely done. Magic Bear. Keeping things interesting and rewarded for his investment in the corner. Cheese will backflip away. Some space given to JNAPS, but they realize he's not going to have enough to follow up on this. So the space starts to spread out for RMC. Retals upfield. Really good pockets right now that RMC are working through. Tie game. Not really rushing to fight the challenge head on. Taking their time, working kind of circularly through their boost. Good pathing.
OG, a couple of tries where they've looked at it. They pass to a teammate. They're seeing, all right, where have RMC positioned? Calm last time, he didn't see anything. He'd dump it away. Play the midfield. Now Retals gets the ball. And now this time around, they're starting to lose boost. They're starting to lose the 50s. Cheese actually expends the tank there to go for it. Retals is left by himself on a 2v1. Calm takes his time getting that air dribble going, and it makes an easy clear for Magic Bear off of Retals 50.
Plays through the smoke, forcing a lot of challenges, especially when they move into the offensive third. RMC sending one player, usually the second, usually it's either Cheese or Magic Bear, whoever's on that side of the ball, will have to move out in front of the play, look for a bump, then it forces the defensive OG to rush in onto possession. They're just doing a nice job of, again, like not only holding possession right now in the blue half, but also forcing challenges where they know as long as we keep them on the ball, we just have to win 1 or 2 50s. We hold boost, and we're probably going to find a goal here. Retals out in front, looking for the bump, not going to happen. Still alive and well as RMC look for the counterattack.
That was such a good form for RMC too. JNAPS didn't have any boost, easy delete, and then Noli was in the same corner that he got bumped out of last time. OG still playing on defense. Noli tried to recover and almost hit it right back into Retals. Or own goal. Take your pick. He got neither of them, and I'm sure he's happy for that. But Cheese wins a good touch in the midfield. Magic Bear trying to squeeze this ball away. He's successful, and while he didn't find Retals, does give Cheese a way out. Noli doesn't pick the lane. And Cheese actually retains a lot of boost off that first touch, and Noli gets it perfectly, squeezes it off his nose, forces Magic Bear into the air. Retals sitting downfield, but he's beat by JNAPS, and OG keep jumping into the lane space, man.
Yeah, and OG doing a really good job of recognizing that just RMC can't clear that well. Like, yes, they're a little bit low. Magic Bear just going to throw it again downfield. But when RMC get kind of stuck in these weird transitory periods, they're not great at clearing the ball effectively individually. They really rely on the team play for that to be a factor. So for right now, if you're OG, this is where you try to press. This is where you really try to give someone full boost like Noli or Calm space to be able to throw the ball downfield, work back out into the corners, and again, path through the midfield on those small paths. Make sure you get upfield and hold on to the ball. Retals giving it right back to Magic Bear. It's not going to be too threatening. It should be handled by OG, and it will be.
Cheese was lurking forward a little bit. He almost got caught looking too long at the lead man and not JNAPS, but RMC get the ball at end of regulation. And all these challenges have been impossible to get through if you're RMC. He's won almost every single 50. Look at this pass, the shot wide of the net. Cheese is there. Anyway, we got OT.
You know, I actually like that shot from Noli. I think if you throw it towards the net, it's easily saved, but why not try to get a little free rebound if you position well? I think that's what he was thinking. Regardless, going to golden goal opportunity. And a chance here for RMC to tie up the series really comes down to how well can they execute the physicality on the opposite end. They've had boost to make this game work. They just haven't found the bumps that they had in game 1.
JNAPS so quick. Beats 2 from RMC to the ball. Retals just gets back in time. Noli's got a full tank, though. Plays it slow. Magic Bear tries to take the advance. He loses. Calm does get the touch. They're going to need a little bit more work than that. They have a lot of boost to work with, OG do. Magic Bear has to feather his 10 just to push it back down and watch JNAPS push it back in. Open net, no problem. OG 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, sometimes the defense of RMC can get a bit lackadaisical here. Magic Bear, not the best touch. That's a pretty errant challenge by Cheese. I don't dislike the challenge, but you have to realize that, or at least have communication, that Retals is not yet in a position as he's circling through the corner to properly set up sideways in front of the net to be able to challenge. So
I mean, Retals kind of took himself out of position there a little bit, I think. He went to go protect his corner boost as Noli came in, and that's when the challenge was lost. So the timing was about as bad as it could have been for him to leave the wall.
You're absolutely right. It's just those are the situations where, again, that kind of play has happened far too often for formerly LG. So it does come down often to just them communicating. Retals, maybe it's just him saying, hey, I'm going to go grab boost, or even she's saying, I'm going to try to take this challenge. Somebody needs to cut back. It's just that specific play has just happened far too often for RMC, where clearly they're making the right play. They're just half a step behind, and they need to communicate that they're half a step behind, or just wait to maybe go grab boost. Regardless, though, better setup from OG throughout. I mean, the JNAPs, again, kind of just sitting close right post, waiting, making sure that, like you talked about earlier, like Noli, who's been winning challenges all day, once they get a rebound they can work with, once they realize that they kind of have RMC low boost situation, they're going to start pulling onto the ball. That's where you set up. That's where you try to catch them with a quick pass. They get that. It's an easy rebound for OG to capitalize on. Same situation, same ideals for both teams, kind of coming up back to full form like we've seen all season. So it just feels like an RLCS series, man. It just feels normal.
Just feels like LG versus OG. So you're expecting the reverse sweep here now, right?
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen.
100%. That's right, Derby. That's right, Derby. We're going 5.
That's right.
It's
where's that bias been all series long?
We're not going 5 because of RMC. We're going 5 because it's the way it has been.
I can hear Corelli rolling in his bit rate right now.
Yeah. He's having a day.
Shout out Corelli's internet.
If we don't go 5, you're the reason why. So that shows that at least Corelli's the problem.
Well, look, I'm not going to expound on that any further, but Cheese gets a demo. That's a marquee RMC play, right? Oh, and they also get demoed, but that's a comm special, so nothing new here, folks. Not yet.
Yeah. All standard Rocket League. You've all seen this before. It just has a couple of different shades sometimes. Retals, quality challenge. Cheese going to be low. He might re-challenge this. He'll at least stay close to force comm to bring it back down to the ground. Retals should be the next one up. He's going to stay at the midfield. Here's the cut. I think that's Magic Bear. Nope, it's Cheese. Magic Bear way upfield. Very far out of the play, but still holding on to boost. Like to see that.
Noli actually lets Calm receive that, and he gets the boost. I was wondering about the call off at first. Noli had to receive a heater, though. You know more than me, Noli. This ball by Cheese. Gets it around 1. Is it enough? He does get by JNAP. Still has to pinch it across, and you saw Retals had to chase the play. That's the one thing about those 1v350s down the sidewall is a lot of times you're not initially positioned as second man for him to win every single challenge. So even though he does get the pinch across, he's still usually catching up to him. Cheese having to play more defense. JNAP's almost getting tackled. Cheese trying to wrench this ball away from OG. Noli pops it up, gets the 50. No OG player there. Kama's last back had to wait. And here come RMC transition. Almost. Wow. Oh my God, JNAP's.
The hustle back to the net is absolutely absurd. And, I was just thinking one of the more underrated qualities of Cheese's gameplay is his ability to chase, especially when he's low in the tank. Cheese is very, very good at just winning touches. Low boost, challenging on the ball, upfield by himself. While it doesn't always convert to a shot or a goal, and at times you can always sit there and be like, oh, I wish RMC would crash a little bit harder. He's very good at just constantly keeping the play evolved downfield. So for OG, certainly something to think about. However, it hasn't really paid dividends. RMC, still looking for what has been their first real quality shot. There it goes. Cheese buys time and capitalizes.
Cheese gets away with the dirty touch, dude. Magic Bear fake into Cheese. It's designed. It's beautiful, but I don't know if you had the exact right recipe, but you laid it on the dinner table and your mom said, this tasted great. And you know what? That's all that matters at the end of the day. The presentation doesn't look great. The shot could have been a lot better. And certainly OG thought you were going to shoot it a lot better, Cheese. But hey, you know what they say? The bouncers are the best. There you go, right. Magic. Almost got that pincher. Retals is back. Don't worry.
Oh, God. The flashbacks are already starting to kick in. It's a decent attempt at the midfield. Cheese will send it on its way. But for OG, I think, going into this, right, you're up 2-0 in the series. Not worried too much about the different looks that RMC will give you because you know how this team plays. You know exactly what they're going to do basically at all times on the ball. For them, does come down to avoiding some of those demos, dishing out some pain of their own. Unfortunately for now, they're going to have to watch this one more time because this is a perfect setup from Cheese yet again.
I got to say, Calm brings out the worst in Retals, man. I like the new Retals, the one that flip resets and double taps and does cool mechy things and, plays smart rotational Rocket League. I don't like mean Retals who just demos the entire OG team and leaves them all completely starved out, chassis spread all over Manfield. I mean, come on, man. That's just rude. How many people are going to demo this game?
My prom king right there, baby. That's my sweet prince. Oh.
Prom king is crazy, dude.
I will never forgive Retals for being at 80 boost and having to go the length of the field with 0 seconds and catching the ball in this hood and then letting it go. That will always make me upset. But I can't hate the Prom King for when he's producing with demos as well. Magic Bear, quality shot. 2-0 lead, one of the healthiest ones RMC's had in this entire series. So to start the reverse sweep, not a bad way to do it.
Not a bad way to do it, but still a minute 30 on the clock. OG, only 2 shots on net. Both of those shots coming from Com. Noli been mostly shut down, but he has 3 saves. Com fakes the reset, just tries to control the ball, looking for another way in right now, and there just isn't. Magic Bear keeps the touch clean. He actually lost it. As I said, clean. JNap sits in front. He's denied. There's just no bite right now for OG. Maybe here, but Com's only on 13. Goes for the pass, and it almost worked out. We went for the light challenge. It doesn't work, and here comes Magic.
You got Retals in the opposite wing. Magic, kind of solo effort towards the net. Cheese earned a lot of boost to get upfield. Now what does he do with 12? At least wins a challenge. Makes things interesting, but again, it won't be enough to shut down the OG transition. Noli, free net, man. All day, every day. It's free.
Yeah. You saw him up in the air. You already knew nobody from RMC was available after that 50. Your teammate had gotten demoed. Third man has to dive back, and you see Cheese. No boost and a lot of problems. 38 seconds is plenty of time here for OG as they've opened up the floodgate. But can they push the water through?
I like what you said earlier, like, you know, not a lot of bite. You know, it feels like both teams have like long stretches, a lot of bark, but sometimes the bite just isn't there. Remember, those watching currently, OG's up 2-0 in the series. RMC. That's just by association. You know, struggling to get back into it for sure, but have to start the reverse sweep here in game number 3. Doing a pretty good job holding on to a 1-goal lead with under 12 to go. Will it happen? That's the question. Retals first challenge, works off the ceiling, right back down. Actually resets to fake calm off the ball to burn extra time. I'm going to call that a tactical flip. With 1 to go, should this be a win, RMC will get it, and the series keeps moving.
Well, death taxes. Look, we're going to game 4.
Yeah,
but I can already.
All right.
I can already
lock in. I'm doing this a long time.
I mean, that was such a clean 2-0 for most of that game. And I'm sitting here thinking, there's no way this is going to happen again, right? Until the final 30 seconds. OG had 2 shots on net. So they put on 4 more shots in the last 30 seconds of gameplay. I ain't going to get it done. I love that play. I just wanted Cheese's shot to be better. Am I a perfectionist? Yes. Sure. But that's okay. You know what? It goes in the net, and that's all that matters. You pick up demos, Retals, angry, chomp, Pac-Man. You got them.
I'm not going to break this down. Listen, I've done the Rogue streams. I've done the Optic. I've done the Luminosity. They all win 5. I don't know why I thought Corelli would be the problem. It's clearly me. I'm the problem. Okay, every single time it's gone 5. So Jorby, you're just along for the ride, pal. We're going to game 5 in this one as well. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you could be a part of this. You're going to see history made as once again RMC on mainstream, at least on my eyes, will be going to game 5, if not round 5, for like the 90th week. So I hope you're having fun, dude. We're gonna go Champions Field. This game doesn't matter. Happy to have you here, bud.
No, it's great to be here. I'm glad that y'all asked me to come on, and I'm glad I get to experience this. My heart got a lot of training when it came to casting, Furia and Dignitas.
Yeah, you did. You got the training of a lifetime.
Luminosity and Dignitas, they definitely had a lot in common when it came to stress. So,
that's right.
I'm definitely not unfamiliar with the game 5 energy. Although Dignitas are usually up and then throw.
Sure.
And then losing game 5. At least you guys win your game 5 most of the time.
We did at the start of the season. There was a stretch at the end of the season where it was not the case. But I think the fun thing about these two teams specifically, for OG and RMC, who have been so close since the season started, I thought this would also be a matchup we would see more and more, I guess the words we'll go with, as the season continued. Yes, we got a couple of matchups between the two, but RMC kind of bounced out from RLCS pretty early. OG, again, kind of still fighting through. But these two teams are so parallel against one another. Like, it feels like a lot of times we're watching a mirror match, and it just comes down to who executes better. As of late, it's been OG who's executed much better. But Jorby, for a lot of the mid-pack teams in NA, like, we start to see a lot of them settle into having really interesting, strong rivalries against one another. And I think this is a good example of one of them. I mean, OG, RMC, not at the moment in the running for like contending for the title, but always putting on a great show against one another and consistently playing good Rocket League whenever we see them go head to head.
Yeah, absolutely. You at least get really, really tight Rocket League, and it did get really physical. I'm curious if OG respond in a similar way in Game 4. I certainly think OG would love to end this right now, but they were mostly shut down on everything that they tried to do. Magic Bear was huge in that. And then the few times they started winning the ball, Retals came in, deleted you off the pitch, took care of business. All Cheese had to do was put the ball in the back of the net. And let me tell you, that is the easiest role on the team, okay? Everything else is so much harder. And I know some people are thinking out there, actually shooting the ball is the hardest thing to do in the game. Yeah, well, guess what? This isn't ranked, okay? This is pro play. And Cheese, sink the ball or don't. If you're Noli, J-Naps, or Con, sink the ball. But mostly about RMC and capping off them. If that's all Cheese has to do, they're going to be in great hands. He makes a good stop. Retals up there quickly to move that ball out to the corner.
I love that play from Com. That little change up on the goal line, that little layup, that bounce. That's the kind of stuff that, again, when you're trying to break down the defense, especially close quarters, that's what separates a lot of teams. Dead center net, immediately poked out. Magic Bear can't quite meet it. Didn't have the boost to make that shot even threatening. But, again, already out quickly on rotations. We are seeing RMC invest a lot of the midfield, as they should. Looking very clean. Cheese not going to be able to follow, but Retals will, and plays it wide. Maybe didn't want that errant touch to go dead center net, kicked out to the corner where Cheese couldn't handle it. Instead, plays it low right post. We'll see what they can do now.
Another bump from Retals, giving Cheese a little bit more space, and all he has to do is hold the reset. And like I said, look, Retals will get the bump. Magic will freeze Noli, so you can get the free ball. Then he'll get bumped, and Magic will also force Calm into the air. Cheese, all you got to do is hold and put it in. There you go. Give him that Guerre. Thank you.
Ooh. Feeling a little Winsleydale myself.
Feeling a little, at least for American, exotic, if you will.
Oh, I like that. I had some sharp cheddar today. It was excellent.
Sharp cheddar is that's on like the Mount Rushmore of cheeses.
Yeah, it's clean and consistent, you know?
Actually, what is the Mount Rushmore of cheese? Do cheddar, any type of cheddar?
I put Munster up there. I really do.
Munster's a decent shout.
Provolone, mozzarella.
Provolone's
up there, dude.
Provolone over mozzarella, I think.
Agreed. Yeah, it's up there.
Like if we had to only choose one of those, I'd choose provolone.
Oh, 100% all day.
Yeah. I think Brie underrated. It might not. That might not be on the Rushmore, but
that's what I've heard from people. I haven't had it, but I've heard those who have had Brie say it's very underrated.
Yeah, it's pretty great. OG aren't going to score just yet. Here comes Com. Cheese is there. Don't worry, chat. You thought we're not watching the game, but believe me, we are. Nothing's happening.
We are. That's why we're talking about cheese, because you see what we see. We're back to playing ping pong.
This is what do you eat with Brie? Lots of things.
Chad, get a charcuterie board and act like adults. Act like
you know what? How about feta? How do you feel about feta? I love feta.
Good on salads. I wouldn't choose it on its own.
I don't know how J-Naps missed that. Bounced off the bar and out.
It's OG versus RMC. They're gonna. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Slotzarella, baby. We're back. Welcome back into the LG team stream. I'm just kidding. Look at Cheese. 1v2 downfield, baby. What are you doing? Hold that. Look at that rotation on the wheels. My goodness.
That was actually sick. Hitting it on the back wheel, too. What do you call it? Slotzarella?
Slotzarella, baby.
That's beautiful. And you know, it deserves the call out. Don't apologize. Thanks. When the man slots it like that, you got to call the Cheese.
He's got one per series. You got one in it per series. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, OG, what do you got? Because right now, it's looking like we're going to game 5.
Why do you think we're so calm? Like, we know where this is going.
I do love after game 1. Like, literally the first thing you said was like, yeah, for game 1, don't care. Don't know why we played the first 4 at all.
Well, you know what we say,
best of one, look at this.
You know what we say, Jorby, all the time as casters, game 1s kind of give you a litmus test for the series. They don't often say a whole lot. And this doesn't say a whole lot either, because they're going to shoot themselves into a frenzy. It's an open net. We'll see in 5. Okay.
Why are we double committing there? Well,
why not?
I mean, I guess if it's already chalked, right? We already wrote it in. This is Gibbs level conspiracy. This is crazy.
This really is, man.
Well, less than 2 minutes to go. There's just nothing working for OG, and I'm really trying to find in the little moments, like what moments are breaking down for them, and it's like a scant good 50 every now and again. Noli isn't commanding as much authority. He isn't able to boost into the ball at a solid angle. And a lot of that's just due to RMC physicality, honestly. Like every time I see OG in position, Retals bumps them out. And then they have, look, there's Com. Com's trying to get physical finally and actually pull LG off their rotation, but XLG. They've been able to work with low boost because they keep pushing OG slightly off the ball, so they're playing from behind. And a lot of times, it doesn't really matter if you have more boost. If you're farther behind, you're not going to win that 50 unless you have the perfect angle. And OG have not had the perfect angle.
You know, every team has lanes they like to work through on a given game in the RLCS. They all have their different spots. Great shot from Magic Bear. Every team has their own spots on the field, different lanes they like to orchestrate their offense. It's clear in this game that just by the way the spacing's been from LG, what they've afforded OG not only are not getting to their spots, not really working the lanes they like, but having to work everything else that's available, they don't yet feel comfortable doing that. And, you know, we've seen a couple instances where there was a double commit from, it looked like JNaps in Calm as Noli was rotating through the midfield. He went for a pass, nobody was there. It just looks like at times, OG are just like, all right, we don't have these lanes available in this game. Let's try to make something work. But, you know, that's a different level of communication. It's tough for even the best teams to go from one set of rotations to the second set, to the third set, to the fourth. They have to think about all this stuff in real time. And clearly they're just not that comfortable going to the third and fourth set of different spots on the field. So it's really led to this, just an avalanche of shots and really open opportunities. I mean, Magic Bear from the corner should never, ever have that much space to shoot. And he had all the time in the world.
You got look at OG's record so far through league play. They're 2-2, but in games they're 10-9. As we go into this game 5, they're going to be 10-10 in games played. 3 out of 4 of their series have gone 5 games. Their first series against Incorrect went 4, which is apparently that win's looking better and better over time. But they lost in 5 to G2. Then they won in 5, or they lost in 5 against Space Station, excuse me. Then they went 5 against Fun. Won that one. That one was earlier today. Now they are about to get reverse swept, or at least might get reverse swept by RMC here. So 4 out of your 5 games have gone all 5 games. This is stressful for the OG fans out there, and one that maybe they should have been able to put away, but RMC just seem to have a chokehold on them right now.
Go ahead, chat. Sing the words. You all know it. You know exactly what's happening. You've been begging for months for that song. Go ahead, sing it. Go ahead. You go ahead.
You're a plat rat, or how does it go? I forget.
Oh, that's our anthem. No. We're doing
the
anthem? Round 5. That's the anthem.
Round 5?
Yeah.
Okay,
We made sure we had whole sections put out for Jorby. No, they're doing it for me. I don't have to. They got the Curse of Ra going as well. Like, it's, you know where we're going, folks. It's, I mean, what do you want from me? I'm not going to break this down. I don't feel like it. We're going 5. It's just, it's happening. Here it comes, baby. Well, you know we're going round 5. You know you don't hate the song. No, you don't hate the song. I refuse to believe that, Mrs. Reynolds. You do not hate the song. You know why? Because your son keeps sending us 5, okay? We're going 5. Doing it one more time, baby. Come on, Reynolds. Come on, baby. You can't keep sending me here and not close the deal, man. Slayer, my prom king. Please. Come on. Let's get it done. Jorby, take us in, man. I can't do this.
Shout out Reynolds' mom. Absolutely wonderful person to talk to at LAN, and I think it's hilarious.
My favorite family.
Of course, she hates the song. I think that's great.
Oh yeah. We put that family through misery this season. I'm so sorry.
Oh man. Well, that shot's going into the net. Noli putting that one in, and OG will start the scoring. It really is feeling like an XLG5. Look at that demo off of Cheese. Magic Bear coming off the wall, and he's like, oh no, my teammate's demoed. Now I have to recover and hopefully defend this shot. He can't.
You know, in game 4, Noli really tried to just feed JNaps or Calm a couple times in the midfield, and it felt like, again, like he wasn't as productive because the rest of the team wasn't as productive, and he couldn't be productive because there wasn't much to produce there. If Noli has a strong challenge game in this game 5, this team, I mean, OG has historically, when they've gone to Champions Field against formerly LG, when Noli stepped up, they've kind of handled business. So expect him to be the X factor in this game. Magic Bear waiting close of the net. Retals getting a little cheeky, but this is a time where Noli can really set the pace on Champions Field, and if he does, OG are going to have to feel that.
Well, he sat underneath this ball in the corner for like 10 seconds. Finally just gets the chance and has to dump it away. And now Cheese taking it back to Reynolds. Wow, that's a monster 50. Tom was ready for it. Now he get bumped by Cheese. I think he actually messed up his launch going up to the sidewall. There's no mistakes. Cheese is chasing you down. Gotta maintain pace. Only gets a nice 50. JNaps tried to squeeze it in. RMC facing that pressure early on. No, he ain't done. Trying to reload, but the gunpowder behind him deleted. Com has to respawn, and JNaps has to buy time here for OG.
If you're OG, you got to capitalize on this counterattack. You have to score here. Once you have pressure onto RMC, you must execute because, again, RMC love to play close to the net, 2 members up at a time. They'll usually send Reynolds on the backboard. They'll keep Magic Bear either low in the post or when he rotates out for boost, he flies in and makes a diving save. If you're OG, capitalize on that low boost opportunity, put another goal through, and make it difficult for RMC to work that counterattack down the field. So far, though, RMC have done a nice job of breaking out. That has been a big criticism of this team as the season went on. They struggled to break out of long stretches of offensive prowess from teams like OG, teams like G2 and Genji. But this is just a great response downfield, a long clear from Magic Bear, and a setup for a double tap that works excellently.
RMC spotted the hole. Magic Bear was sitting on the side wall. They had JNaps come forward, but they had the long pass over to the corner and the dump down to Magic Bear. Com was on the side, had his car turned, only had about half boost. He didn't see Magic Bear until it was too late, so he didn't even think that he had to jump for the ball. So Magic Bear just gets the full field, 3-point passing play goal, and nobody from OG was there to respond. Was nobody able to calm that Magic Bear was there? Did nobody on OG believe that Magic Bear was going to be able to work that ball as well as he did? One of these things is true for OG.
Yeah.
And, I mean, for their sake, I hope it's that they just didn't expect him rather than they didn't see him. I think I'm more willing to believe that they just didn't expect him to move that ball as effectively as he did. That touch off the ceiling as Magic Bear gets it down off the backboard, pitches it through.
Oh, man.
Can't get there. That's some rocket power.
That's my Lee Sentinel guy, Cheese from the sidewall. Look at this man. Set up perfectly, wins the race to the ball, fights Noli for the possession. Reynolds just watching it fly by. 2-1 for the moment. And that's how you get it, man. Listen, Magic Bear, you don't see him often. He's like a termite. And then when you realize that the house is going under, like, oh, okay, he was there the whole time. But this is the kind of transitory offense that RMC can really dial into once they feel like they have enough boost to start challenging. And it sounds really simple, but it's something this team has been working on all season, something that Greg has talked about in interviews, how they have been focusing on winning these transition periods. Finally, it starts to work out. Now, defensively, how can they keep the lead? Because whenever RMC would grab a lead, you had to guarantee that there was going to be a tie game at some point. Can they hold on to it?
You talk about him being a termite. It's a scary fact when you understand that they can fly as well. And Magic Bear, a bear termite, that sounds absolutely terrifying. Someone draw what you think a bear termite would look like. Reynolds not going to get much on his 50, just trying to buy time. Cheese doesn't have any boost. He can't do much. Magic Bear sitting underneath with 61. And, well, no one feeling confident to just take the challenge. Reynolds got a nice scoop. Reynolds, that's about all he gets, though. Can't get the boost steal. Com will pick that one up. Cheese sets it down, but that's a time-buying touch, hopefully into safety for Reynolds. See him working with very little, excuse me. Cheese with a full tank. Still has Magic Bear with half of his, but he can't get solid contact. OG have a chance here to tie things up.
Yeah, Reynolds on the back line, only one for the moment. It's going to play boost every time. Once he gets the clear, into the corner immediately. So opportunities for OG to recognize. We'll try to work around one. Noli looked for at least the chip onto Cheese. It didn't work. JNaps recentered. Reynolds gives it right back. That's a really, really tough spot to be in. I don't want to say that Reynolds could have cleared that better. I think that's just a really good setup from JNaps.
Yeah, Magic Bear, he's sitting back and he commits with Reynolds there, which really surprises me because Reynolds is in position for it. And if Magic Bear's looking at that play, he sees that OG are waiting for Reynolds' touch, but he still commits anyway. I feel like there was a way out. You're absolutely right that, that's a really tight situation as Magic Bear is rotating back in there, but that felt like it was salvageable, from RMC. A chance to hold on to that lead, but now you have to do this. Reynolds has another and cannot put it on target, but at least he gave it a chance over to Cheese. Magic Bear will buy time.
And again, I like the idea of being selfless. Cheese has full boost. Give him a chance to recenter back into the play. Sure, dangerous as that might be, but still in that spot, I'd like to see Reynolds go for the double tap. Even if it doesn't land, just kind of take initiative on the ball, force the challenge off the backboard, and then allow Cheese and Magic Bear to use the full tank of boost they have to reposition at the midfield. It's just small stuff like that that can really change the dynamic of this offense. Under 10 to go. Have to go the length of the field. JNaps going to call his own number. Noli working underneath. Have to do it himself. Reynolds won't let it touch. Up the cheese on the ceiling, misses it completely. Retals on the catch, gets absolutely destroyed, and into golden goal for game 5.
And think it back to that critical moment where Retals is on the ball. Magic Bear turns around. Or maybe Retals was trying to get out of Magic's way. Still thinking back to that moment. XLG RMC can't be thinking about that moment. The start of OT here. They've had some great transitions down the field. You talked about the better transition game from them. And Com actually slips through, but can't beat Retals to the ball. Retals with 2, and he sinks it. Hey, Slater is Retals backwards, and they're going frontwards through game 5. Game win, match win.
Just take initiative, Slater. That's all I'm asking, my prom king, my sweet man. Finally does it, calls his own number, off the backboard double tap. We try it once, doesn't work, re-roll for initiative again. And guess what happens? It's a game 5 victory for RMC. They keep it moving through game 5. 3-2 in the series, 3-2 in the game. Please stop going game 5, Retals. I'm begging you on my hands and knees. Here we go, though. Here's a breakdown. And again, it was, really consistent pressure physically from Noli and Com to start things. And I was expecting Noli to continue to be the X factor. JNaps had a lot of great assists in this game. Really nice job centering on some of those really tough angles off the RMC backboard. However, at the end, when it came to pacing downfield, stretching the passes out, up cheese, up to Magic Bear in the corner, that's where RMC found their groove. That's where they found success. And a really, really close game 5 that felt like it could have gone either way, Jordan.